Testing 1, 2, 3. Starting in few seconds, maybe a few minutes. Nasira yung link kanina. Okay, hindi gumagana yung browser ko. Pero looks like it's working on Facebook. Tignan natin ha. Okay, hindi gumagana yung browser ko. Good. Pero looks like it's working on Facebook. Okay, we'll start in a few, in 1 minute. Ayusin ko lang po yung link ko. Basics of live streaming. Yan, para kita na ako. Okay. Rinig ba? Rinig po. Okay, let me just get the link here. Okay, give me 1 minute. Bigay ko lang po ito sa mga humingi ng link. Okay. Okay, sige po, start na. I'll start. It is 12:09 ng madaling araw dito. So, welcome. Papakilala mo na po ako si Lemuel Espinol. The reason for this live stream is alam po natin ang mga nangyayari sa paligid natin for the past few months, and the Lord has given me an opportunity para makapag-serve sa aming church, to lead the live streaming. You can visit our website at wbbc.ca para po makita nyo yung live streaming. Anyway, I'm not an expert in any way, pero po with the past few weeks then, I've been in contact with some other workers and some pastors regarding live streaming, and with my limited knowledge, I hope na ma-share ko ito to all of you na manonood nito or manonood soon afterwards. So we have a few. I have an outline para hindi ako maligaw. Okay, hopefully this will go on for until 2 p.m. Philippine time, 1 a.m. sa akin. Magiging topics po natin is video, the camera gear, the audio and the audio gear, software, na gagamitin or ginagamit and streaming. Um, the session po na ito is specifically for my based on my experience and sa common na setup for churches. The reason being is I want to make sure that kung ano po yung meron tayo, magagamit natin. Hindi tayo kukuha ng new equipment for the sake of having them. But if we have existing equipments that we can use for live streaming na may quality, that is the main goal and purpose. Okay, so tingnan ko lang po. And then kung meron po kayong tanong, i-comment nyo lang po. Titignan ko rin yung comments every once in a while. Kung magpapa-shoutout kayo, mamaya na. Okay, so we'll start with the video. Marami pong nagtatanong sa akin lagi, Kuya Lem or Brother Lem, ano ang magandang camera na gagamitin? Wala po akong concrete na camera na sasabihin or ibibigay because it depends. Marami pong factors and for this specific session po, what we will tackle is cameras na merong ability to give a clean HDMI. What does it mean, clean HDMI? It means po using the HDMI port ng camera or from the camera merong signal from an HDMI port. Give you an example. Ito po ay isang Lakayan natin screen ko. Yan. Okay. So ito po ay dito nagsimula ang lahat ng gastos ko sa video. Ito po yung luma but reliable na Sony A6300. Segue tayo. For the purpose of live streaming, hindi nyo po kailangan ng camera na maraming bells and whistles, mga in-body stabilization, or hindi nyo kailangan ng cameras na nagsushoot ng 4K necessarily. I wouldn't recommend it actually kasi po kung kayo ay mag-live stream through Facebook, ang maximum resolution nyo is 720. So yung 4K hindi nyo naman po magagamit yon. Okay, going back to the camera requirement. For the sake of the video, ang ating pong requirement is meron siyang clean HDMI, meaning meron pong HDMI port or signal na makukuha kayo from the camera going to the computer. Bakit po? Kasi meron ibang mga cameras na walang signal, so analog pa yung signal niya. We started the streaming way back 2005, 2004 sa Las Piñas Baptist Church, and we used the old Sony camcorder. So yun, RCA jacks pa yung RCA ang gamit namin. Nowadays po, if we want to simplify yung streaming setup, it will be advisable to use a camera with an HDMI signal. May ipapakita po akong picture dito na magandang example how we should use or kung paano yung ating basics of live streaming. Here we go. Okay. Lalabas ko po sa screen I'm also using OBS, yung software po na ipapakita ko sa inyo mamaya. But right now, yan. Okay. Para wala din yung mukha ko. Basics of live streaming. So, the video camera, ang number one yan ang importante. Dapat ito ang video source. It should be a quality camera, but it could be not necessarily a cellphone. Hindi po sa akin itong picture na to, pero gusto ko lang makita yung graph or yung diagram. So, from the camera, it will go to a capture card. We'll discuss that later. And from the capture card, it goes to the computer. And then sa computer po, doon na magagamit yung ating signal from the camera to the computer and then broadcast it live through Facebook or YouTube. And then going back to the camera, yan. Okay, so we'll use this as an example. Ito pong camera na ito, uh, medyo luma na rin itong camera na to. Pero this is a very, for me, an ideal kasi dito po ako nagsimula. Dito rin yung ginagamit ko. Or the other one, 6500 na Sony. Mga ano lang siya, hindi siya pro camera. Pero it can be used. Kasi po, besides the HDMI output, another important thing is the lens. Sa ating church settings, it is very common na ang pulpit at yung setup mo or yung audio, usually ang audio mixers, ang audio guys is nasa likod or nasa taas or nasa side. So you have to have a camera na merong capability na mag-zoom lens. Pwede kang gumamit ng a point and shoot camera, but yung limitation mo noon ay marami. Number one is video. Kung ano lang yung lens na kasama niya, yun lang yung capability ng camera mo na mag-zoom in and out. Pag medyo malayo na yung setup mo, hindi na kaya ng camera. So, it is advisable to have a camera na merong ability na malagyan mo ng ibang lens, zoom lens, typically for your video streaming. So, marami po ngayong cameras. Maraming naglalabas ang cameras na hindi mahal pero may magandang capability na mag-live stream. So, this one is another example. Ito yung bago namin gagamitin sa church. This is, one second. Hindi nag-focus sa mukha ko. Hoy. Yan. Ito po yung Lumix G7. Plastic yung katawan niya. Pero, flip out screen. And then, nilagyan ko na lang ng cage. Pero ito po ay merong zoom lens na kasama nung binili. So, the ability to zoom, importante. And then, next one is the HDMI. Lang po ha. Lolo. Madilim kasi sa kwarto eh. Mainit. Okay. And then, audio input. Okay, so lens, clean HDMI out. Mamaya pa i-discuss ko yung clean HDMI pa when we go to the computer aspect. Pero yung zoom lens, malinaw yon. Clean HDMI, and then audio input. Okay, audio input po. Ibig sabihin, yung camera mo should have a dedicated port for the audio. Bakit po? Sa church settings natin, usually malayo ang preacher from the camera or may kalayuan. And I have experienced this, and I've seen a lot of videos sa mga live stream churches na people are struggling to hear what the preacher is trying to say dahil malayo. And yung audio ay napaka-garbled. And audio is very important. It's half of the streaming, di ba? Pwede kang magkaroon ng radio broadcast with only audio, walang video, and you can communicate your message. Pero try mo mag-video ng walang audio, hindi ka the message won't get across. My point is audio is very important. Ito, mura lang tong mic na to, pero I got this mic kasi gusto ko yung audio na nilalabas niya, and hopefully naririnig yun ng malinaw yung boses ko at hindi yung echo. Hindi naman soundproof yung kwarto, pero hopefully this mic is good enough para po marinig natin yung audio very clearly. And with our discussion with the church setting, audio is very important. So, camera, audio port, dito, dedicated 3.5 jack yung sa Sony cameras usually, and also sa Lumix, yun din. Meron din siyang audio mic input dito. Hindi kita eh. Sorry, medyo manayo yung hindi mag-focus. Anyway, so jack in. Audio input. And then learn what you have. If you have a camera already, kung meron na po kayong ginagamit na camera for streaming or for video shooting, learn the camera. hindi kailangan na to jump ahead and ay bili tayo ng ganitong camera. Marami pong paraan. And with the technology nowadays, you can also have other avenues or other tools para ma-maximize mo yung equipment na yun. So kung meron kayong lumang DSLR na camera, ang limitations nga lang noon is audio, pero we will may workaround dun sa audio. So kung walang audio input yung camera nyo, meron tayong workaround later given na yung computer setup nyo for live streaming is malapit doon sa audio mixer. And then we'll go to that later. Anyway, okay, so for audio, for the equipment, it should capture good quality video with the zoom capability, with the HDMI signal, and learn your equipment. So marami pong paraan. Maraming factors na kailangan pag-aralan. And hindi ko na po i-detail dito, pero there's such things as frame rates, ISO, shutter speed. So yun yung mga terms na minsan nakakatakot, pero hindi po siya nakakatakot. Ano lang siya? Interesting. And they work hand in hand to get the best video for your equipment. So I will leave that out for now. Maybe next time. Pero sa ngayon po, ililiwag ko yung settings ng camera na gagamitin nyo o dapat yung gamitin. And we'll focus on yung kailangan muna. So video, camera with those capabilities. Number 2 is audio. Okay, so audio po. Audio, we need to study how the audio will be fed to the PC using the OBS or the software na gagamitin nyo. Tulad ng sinabi ko kanina, importante yung audio na ma-feed natin directly to the software. Bakit po? Kasi yung signal from the mixer, a lot of the churches or most churches have audio mixers na, di ba? So yun yung nakakabit yung mic. And maganda pong paraan yon na magkukuha na lang tayo ng out, and then from that mixer, idadiretso natin siya sa computer. And yun lang, kailangan mo ng tools para mailagay mo yung audio from the mixer to the computer via a USB or a sound card. Ibigay ko po example. Okay. Ito. Ay, dito. Ito pala. Ito. So, ito po isa kong example. Kung wala kayong kung yung camera nyo is walang audio jack, like old DSLR cameras, you can use one of these. Ito po ay isang, ito yung gamit ko ngayon, nakasaksak sa headset ko. Ito ay maliit na mixer. Mura ko lang ito nabili sa AliExpress, galing China. So meron siyang input ng XLR, input dalawa, and then you have the capability to manage the gain and all that settings. May monitor na siya. And then ang output niya po ay USB. So wala siyang power source na kailangan. Just the USB, and it goes directly to the computer. At yung computer po, ma-recognize niya na yung USB as, or the device as another sound card. Meaning, pwede mo siyang iset as the microphone or pwede mo siyang iset as speaker. So, sa OBS po, mayroong option doon to select this device as your source of audio. So yun po yung ginagawa ko ngayon. So yung audio ko hindi ko ginagamit sa camera. Wala akong audio sa camera, pero nandito gamit ko sa mixer. Downsides, may latency latency minsan, hindi sabay. Pag masyadong maraming kable, masyadong maraming connection, especially kung wireless, minsan nagkakaroon ng latency with the audio from the speaker sa video to the microphone to the audio. Another option, ito po yung ginagamit ko talaga every Sunday, and napaka-helpful sa akin ito. Ito isang Tascam DR60D Mark II na audio interface. This one goes on top of my camera, nakaganon. And sa setting po namin sa church, we have a wireless lapel na XLR. So diretso ko siya dito kinakabit. And then yung galing po sa mixer ng church, kinakabit ko siya dito rin para pag ang nagsasalita yung song leader, nagpapakanta, or testimony time or any other parts ng service na hindi kasi sa yung lapel nakakabit na sa kay pastor. So yung pulpit microphone siya yung nakakabit din dito. So I can mix them, volume, I can adjust the volume, the gain. Kasi po yun ang problema sa kung diretso yung nakakabit sa camera yung audio, minsan hindi po kumbaga either hindi enough, mahina ang volume, or sobrang nagpipeak yung audio kasi malakas yung signal na nilalabas ng mixer, and wala kang control. Yung camera, kakainin niya lang yung signal na yan from the mixer. If you have this or yung maliit na mixer, meron kang paraan to control the signal coming in, and that would help us a lot. Okay? So ito po, tulad nitong Tascam na to, it's also battery operated, pero pwede mo siyang i-power sa USB. And then may monitoring port ka dito. And meron din po siyang SD card. Bonus na lang to. Kasi po usually ginagamit to sa pag recording, pag merong video shoots. Pero nung backstory, nung hindi pa kami nagla-live, when COVID hit us, na bawal pong magtipon sa churches. So we did pre-recordings, and during the pre-recordings, malaking tulong po sa akin ito kasi nire-record ko yung audio na pumapasok dito, and in case na pumalpak yung video, yung audio sa video ko sa camera, I still have another backup. So anyway, ito pong Tascam na to, 3 sources ang ginagamit ko sa kanya. One is for the lapel, one is for the pulpit microphone, and yung pangatlo, ginagamit ko to usually for a boom microphone. Para po, halimbawa, minsan may nagsasalita sa congregation. So, wala akong mic na gagamitin para sa kanila. It's very seldom, but sometimes it's important, especially kung testimony time, na hindi po tayo pwede ngayon magpasapasahan ng mic. So, it's best to have something na makakakuha ng audio from the audience. Okay? So, this maganda to. Nabili ko lang to second hand sa eBay, but it has been very good to me, and one of my favorite gadgets sa audio. So yun po yung audio, and then sa mga sa doing the audio part ng streaming, kailangan po nating tandaan yung peaking. Ibig sabihin ng peaking, yung sumasabog, yung minsan it sounds parang merong alon yung audio, lalo na yung mga speakers na malalakas ang boses, at saka yung mga sumisigaw, nangigising ng tulog na members. Pag lumakas ang boses nila, magpipik yon. Pag nagpik yon, sabog, masakit sa tenga, and nasisira yung audio quality. So maganda po na merong kang gain adjustments or gain knobs kung saan makokontrol mo, depende kung sino yung nagsasalita. Kasi minsan yung song leader mo mahina boses, and then the speaker malakas ang boses, so kailangan mong i-mix and balance yun. So that's for the audio. Okay, anong oras na? Yan. Mamaya po, kung mayroon kayong mga tanong na naman. Okay, gulo ko, no? Hindi nyo maintindihan kaya wala kayong tanong. Okay. And then software, maya tayo pumunta doon. So isipin ko lang kung meron ako na miss audio and video. Oh yes, the capture card. So kung ang camera nyo po ay merong HDMI signal or HDMI port, and then from the HDMI port, hindi siya mako-connect diretso sa computer, correct? So kailangan yun nitong device na to. Ito yung gagamitin namin, pero marami pong iba't ibang klase. Ito ay Elgato capture card, pero marami pong mga mas maliliit na capture card. Mag-ingat lang kayo sa mga nag-overheat na capture cards na maliliit, pero maraming mas murang mga devices kung saan isasaksak nyo yung HDMI dito in, and then merong USB Type-C or USB cable na pwede mong gamitin, and then to connect to the computer. And then the computer will recognize that signal pwede mong gamitin ngayon sa streaming. So hindi direct, hindi kasi ano tayo digital na tayo. Gone are the days na analog na ang gamit natin is yung mga malalaking mga jacks or mga tapes. Ngayon puro ang signal natin puro digital. And this is one of the capture card is one of the devices to transfer the video from a camera digitally into the computer, and then pwede nyo record on. Same concept for external recorders as well. So yun yung capture card. We'll proceed na sa software. Ano ba ako na-miss? First time ko po nag-live kaya hindi ko lang mga pinagsasabi ko minsan. Pero tanungin nyo lang po ako if after this session meron kayong tanong na naisip, bigyan nyo ako ng message and I'll try my best to answer. Again, I'm not an expert with video streaming, live streaming. I'm sharing my experience sa live streaming namin, and it has been a very interesting and rewarding journey for our church as well. Sa church po namin marami kasi ang mga nakatira outside the city. And marami sa mga mas mature na hindi matatanda, mas mature na members ang walang access sa usual social media accounts. So they don't have Facebook, they don't have Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Ang meron lang sila is internet connection. So what we do sa church po namin is we use YouTube. Kasi ang YouTube, pwede mong i-embed yung link sa website. So on our website, wbbc.ca, if you go there, you go to the live streaming page, you will see a link. Pag kinlik nyo yung picture ng service, it will direct you to the YouTube channel ng church where we do the live streaming every Sunday and Wednesdays. And that's one thing na i-discuss natin mamaya. Sorry, nag-jump na ako sa streaming. Pero yun po yung case namin or yung scenario namin. And it's a case-to-case basis. Kung ano yung mas available sa members. Yun ang kailangan natin i-explore. And technology is a wonderful tool kung alam natin kung paano gamitin. Okay, let's go back to the image here. 1 second here. Okay. Yan. Okay, computer. So connect your camera to your computer through a capture card. Unfortunately, you can just connect it through the HDMI port. Yes, kung ang laptop niyo po or ang computer niyo is may HDMI port, hindi po gagana yon kung ikakabit niyo lang yung camera niyo directly doon sa HDMI, kasi po yun ay HDMI out. And what you need is HDMI signal in from an external capture card or a camera. Yun ay ang signal papasok. So, huwag niyo basta-basta isalpak lang sa likod ng computer niyo or ng laptop. Okay. Sorry. Okay, and then capture card is a piece of hardware that converts your video signal into format that your computer can understand. Yan. Okay, so punta po tayo sa software ngayon. Okay, for our case, what we use is OBS. Ang OBS po ay isang free software. I've never used OBS, to tell you honestly, until nagkaroon ng COVID. So during the COVID, marami pa rin ako hindi alam gamitin. And it's a very awesome software. It's a free software. Hindi nyo po kailangan bayaran to. You can just look for or Google nyo lang siya, OBS streaming software. And then download, install, and then you will see this window. Ito lang po. natin. Okay. Dito yung aking computer. Okay, go. Okay, yeah. So, ito po ang OBS software. Lagay ko yung mukha ko para hindi weird. Sige lang po naayos ko lang yung nakikita niyo pala kung ano ginagawa ko. Yan, so nakikita niyo na yung so I'm using two cameras. Makikita niyo dito. Meron akong maliit na action camera. Knock-off na GoPro. And siya ay gumagana through USB lang. So if it's via USB, pwede po siya magamit. Ang problema nga, yun yung going back to the main problem na sinabi ko, wala siyang zoom capability, wala siyang audio input capability. Pero kung gusto nyo lang magamit to have a video, kung halimbawa it's a live stream na nakaharap lang kayo sa yung speaker ay nakaharap sa camera, this will do. Hindi nyo na kailangan ng capture card, hindi nyo kailangan ng zoom lens. Kailangan nyo lang is yung camera and USB. When you plug it in directly to the computer, makikita na siya as a camera. So I'll go through that in a bit. So gawa po tayo ng bagong okay, magulo. Okay. So ito po ang OBS software. So we have scenes right here, and we have sources. We have the audio mixer, and then ito yung control panel. Scenes, yan yung main categories ng streaming nyo. So for me po, just an example, this is for my, alisin ko muna kaya yung mukha ko. Wait lang po. Okay. Alisin ko po yung, litan ko lang yung camera here. Yan. Okay, so ito pong window na to, itong side na to, itong preview pane, and then it's the program. Program is the live part of the OBS, and the preview is the part na dun yung sineset up. So I won't go through all the details. Medyo baka maging komplikado, and hindi rin ako expert dito, pero bigay ko lang po yung general overview ng OBS software. So these are the scenes. If we go through the scenes, for me, halimbawa ito camera A, I go to the camera A ng the church, and then yun yung main camera, and then may ipakita ko sa inyo, transition natin. Yan, ito yung camera A ko. So I have the footer ng makita niyo yung footer ng church na ginawa ko, and yung graphics niya hindi masyado maganda. You can do all sorts different sorts of things to manage the graphics sa page na ito, pero ang point ng footer na to for me is I put the name of the church, the website, live, and then usually I put the speaker and the current service na ginagawa namin. if you have somebody who knows about layering, parang software, Photoshop, iba't ibang photo editors, yun lang yung concept nito. So ito po, balik tayo dito. So ito yung layers ng isang scene. So itong camera A ko, I have all the scenes right here. So I have halimbawa yung lower third, ito yung lower third. Ano po nagwa-warp yung video. Okay. Ooh. Yeah. Ang laki kasi ng mukha ko eh. Yan. Okay. So if I select a different scene, yan, makikita niyo po. So you go through this, itong page na to, ito yung parang template or current mong ginagawa. And then paglilipat mo na siya dito, you hit on the transition. So you have to spend time learning the software, but generally this is the software where you can put different scenes. Liitan ko pa ang mukha ko. Paliit. So, about maintenance. Ito yung maintenance window. Pag mayroong problema, I go through this page right away para alam ng mga tao na may nangyayari or may troubleshooting na nangyayari. And then this is ito yung lagay ko pala yung ilalim. So ito yung nilalagay ko sa before we start and after we start. So I put this so meron konting transparency para kita ko pa rin pag kinakalibrate ko yung zoom lens. So kita ko kung saan nakaposisyon yung lens. So this is one example. Not necessarily ito yung best example, pero this is my example para meron pong para alam ng mga nanonood kung ano yung nangyayari. So I put all the vital information, and through the list here, through the other scenes, pwede po kayong gumawa ng ganyan mga graphics. So you can change your fonts, you can change your graphics, you can do different overlays. So dito po sa example na ito, I have one title na text, and then meron akong information dito na text, and then meron akong graphics na Bible dito, and then yan, and then I do this, I do a countdown. May countdown na pakita ko sa inyo. Sample lang to. Yan. So yung countdown natin. Yan. So tatakbo na yung countdown. I do the countdown before the service starts, and then makita ng mga tao yan. So they would know when are you about to start. If you start on time, hopefully. Okay, and then I think we need to go to the audio mixer. Okay, importante kasi po itong audio mixer na ito eh. Itong part ng audio mixer na ito is where you control your sound. So makita niyo po sa akin, I have my desktop audio. So desktop audio is the sound na nagpe-play sa computer mo. So I usually play an instrumental song while the countdown is ongoing, and then I unmute the desktop audio, and then maririnig nyo kung ano yung piniplay ko. Yan. Sample tayo. Yan. Naririnig niyo ba? Hindi ko naririnig. Yan. So when you hear that, you can do that, unmute it, and then if kailangan nyo nang putulin, you just hit mute. And then, hindi na siya maririnig. Okay, so stop ko na muna yung music. Ayan. And then, for my mixer na ginagamit ko, yung maliit na mixer dito, I have the USB audio. So you go to settings. For me, I go to properties, and then I select my device right here. For me, it's the USB audio codec. Automatic na nag-install yan. So, hindi lang po ito yung USB interface. You can search for other mixers na magiging match sa inyong current system. If you already have a mixer na USB, yung mga Focusrite or mga Tascam, meron din silang audio, it's called USB audio interface, para po pwede nyong ipasok yung audio via USB port. So, and then you can manage it through the OBS software. And then itong nasa baba ko na device, Elgato, yun yung aking capture card. Kasi po, natively, yung audio and video magkasama yan sa signal ng HDMI. So when you get the HDMI signal from the camera, kasama yung audio. So kung wala kayong nakakabit na microphone sa camera, kailangan i-mute nyo ito. Kasi kung hindi nyo i-mute yan, naririnig din yung audio from the built-in microphone ng camera, which is not very good. So kailangan nyo pong i-mute. So what I do is I mute everything na hindi ko kailangan during the time na nagpe-play ang isang or nagsasalita ang isang tao. If I use the USB audio, I use it here. If ginagamit ko yung Tascam, it's directly connected to the camera. I click on the Elgato, unmute it, and then gagamitin niya yung audio signal. Audio from the HDMI. Okay, sorry po. Naantok na ako. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Wala naman pala nanonood eh. Napatayin ko na to. Joke lang. Okay. So this is software. I know it's very general ang explanation ko sa OBS, pero OBS software po for me is a very good software that can be used for streaming. Number one, it's free. Number two, it's easy to understand. Kaya nyo po yan. Huwag kayong matatakot sa dami ng columns. Spend a few minutes maybe during the weekend and matututunan nyo na yan. And if you have some young people na mahilig magkalikot ng mga computer softwares, patry nyo sa kanila to. Matututunan nila yan. What else? And then sa settings ng OBS, andun po yung mga sige, pakita ko ito. Transition settings. Hindi ko po mababago yung settings ngayon kasi nagla-live tayo. Pero kung hindi ako naka-live, pwede nating galawin yan. Okay, so general, output, source, wala akong ginagalaw dyan. Ginagalaw ko stream kasi po ito ang kailangan. Sa service, okay. Service, you can select their Facebook Live, YouTube, or different servers for streaming na gagamitin mo. And then stream key, yan yung kukunin mo doon sa server or sa platform, streaming platform na gagamitin mo to stream it. So mamaya itakal ulit natin sa last part natin sa streaming. Output, ito yung yun ang galawin to. Usually yung defaults ito okay naman. Okay. And then audio. For audio, ito yung devices. Makikita mo dito yung audio devices na lumalabas dito. So if you want to disable or enable some of the options here, you can do that. So yung desktop audio, naka-default siya. Desktop audio 2, hindi ko naman to ginagamit, so dinisable ko siya. Or pwede mong iselect kung ano yung gusto mo. Pwede kang headphones, speakers, kung halimbawa wala kang ganitong mic pero you have headphones na merong mic ng cellphone, pwede mong gamitin yun. Just plug it into to the audio jack. Pero yun ay kung sa ano ka, um, computer facing live stream. Pero kung sa church setting, hindi mo magagamit yan. Okay? Balik tayo dun sa church setting ulit. Okay, and then video. Video, ito yung importante, sinasabi ko kanina. Yung output scaled resolution, right now I'm set to 720. By default, naka 1080p ako pag nag-YouTube ako, YouTube live. Hindi ko na ginagawang 4K kasi hindi naman wala naman nanonood ng 4K sa YouTube. Or hindi na makakayanin ng internet usually. So 720 sa akin optimal na yon. Or if kasi masasacrifice ang audio quality mo if you put the quality out, yung output resolution mo na masyado mataas. So put it 720, it's enough. Lalo Facebook ang maximum niya is 720, so 720 lang talaga yan. Naka 1080p ako kanina kaya nagloko yung first live ko, so I have to set it back to 720p. Okay, hotkeys, never mind, advanced. Yan, again, I'm not an expert with OBS or streaming per se. Yan, isa lang din akong simpleng mamamayan na nag-aaral mag-streaming, and it has been quite an experience, interesting experience. Okay, one other thing. Oh, yun. So kung medyo advanced kayo and you have more than one camera, and bawat dalawa ang camera nyo, dito nyo pwede nyo ilagay yun dito as another scene. I've seen churches na they change scene, halimbawa scene A or scene 1, whatever you call it, is yung front view ng pulpit, parang wide shot. And then scene B nila, naka-zoom in. Kung meron kang pangalawang camera, pwede mong gamitin yun na scene B. Or yung iba, siguro malinaw yung camera nila, so they can expand. Yun yung advantage ng mataas na resolution na camera. You can i-zoom mo yung camera and then set it as scene B. So hindi mo na kailangan mag-zoom in and out ng lens. So kailangan mo lang i-click yung next scene and it will change to zoomed in capture. Zoom in na na setting sa camera mo. Okay? Another thing, yung iba scene 3 probably is where you have the speaker, and if meron kang PowerPoint presentation, then you can put it there. We don't do PowerPoint presentation, which is a big relief para sa akin. Pero yung mga nag-PowerPoint presentation, I admire you guys. Malaking trabaho yun, and talaga dapat nakatuto ka sa OBS while the preacher halimbawa PowerPoint ng preaching, bawat lipat nila, isasabay nila yon. It's very tedious, pero doable. So it depends how your setup is being done sa inyong preaching and how you want it to be. Pero generally speaking, OBS is a software that you need to use or that you can use for your live streaming. Meron pang ibang softwares, marami pang ibang free softwares pero again, for the sake of this short session, OBS tayo. Okay. Ayun. Sabi ng kapatid ko, yung bitrate daw ng output streaming, hindi kaya ang default na 2400. Anong default nyo, kuya, na streaming bitrate? video bitrate. Ayan. Ako pala naka 4500. So yeah, yung bitrate nyo pwede nyo babaan yan. It depends on the uh, capability ng inyong internet connection. Yeah, yun yung struggle natin sa Pilipinas, yung slow internet connection, and kaya kailangan i-balance yung quality ng video and the quality ng audio. And for me, audio is more important. Kahit isang camera ka lang, kahit isa lang yan nakatutok sa speaker mo, and your audio is good, it's better than a good video camera with a zoom with a high-end lens, pero yung audio naman garalgal, di ba? So invest on a good audio device. That's my general advice. Okay, time check. Oof, we're almost done. Okay, streaming software. Sa streaming software, yun, nabanggit ko na po kanina na we use YouTube because of our setting or our setup with our members. Kung ano yung accessible sa church members, no, yun ang kailangan yung gamitin, more so than kumaga gusto mong maging naka Instagram live ka, naka different platforms ka ng social media, pero mga members naman wala namang access doon. Sorry. So it's better to have a simple streaming platform na magiging accessible sa lahat. So for me, my experience is YouTube. So hindi nila kailangan ng account, hindi nila kailangan na mag log in. And yung iba dyan, lalo na yung mga hindi familiar sa internet, takot sila maglagay ng username or ng personal information nila, which is understandable, especially maraming scammers ngayon. So know your audience and then cater to their needs. Again, the purpose of our video is to be able to share the gospel through live streaming, to minister to our flock, to the flock ng church. And hindi mo kailangan ng all the bells and whistles. It has to be something that is plain and understandable. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sabi ng kuya ko 500 kbps lang daw. Sa Bicol to, sa Gubat, Sorsogon. So yun po, kailangan yung aralin. May kausap ako ng isang linggo na nagsi-streaming. So they were struggling with the audio, and it's one of the things na naisip ko bigla na I want to share ngayon, na you have to know your audio signal. Kasi kung meron kang operator ng mixer na separate, and in our case ganon, meron nag-ooperate ng audio mixer, and then ako nag-ooperate ng video. The problem is pag nilakasan niya yung audio ng pulpit, magpipeak sa akin, masisira talaga yung audio. So that's why I love this device na ma-manage ko, na pag tumaas yung signal ko dito ng mic, I can turn the volume down and make sure na hindi sasabog yung audio quality. And then yeah, Facebook is very simple din. Nung nag-pre-recording kami ng services, what I do is, after I edit the entire service sa Premiere Pro, isa-save ko sa computer ko, and then i-upload ko at the same time sa YouTube. So isi-synchronize ko, sabay kung may konting latency lang, mga ilang seconds, pero pag nag-live na siya sa YouTube, i-live ko na rin siya sa Facebook. So at the same time, usually may konting lags, konting time difference, pero yung platforms, at least Facebook and YouTube, pareho silang merong streaming. Pero if you're doing it live sa service, hindi mo, kasi magkaiba sila ng streaming key. That's a limitation of OBS. With OBS, isang streaming key lang ang magagamit mo at one point. And Facebook and Facebook and YouTube, magkaiba sila ng streaming key. So you can't use both keys at one time. Pwede, pero you have to pay. Maraming mga services ngayon na kumikita. They will offer more more than one platform, pero you have to pay for their service, which it depends kung kaya nyong magbayad ng halaga to stream on other platforms. So go back to where your people can go for free as much as possible, and then cater to those people. Okay, and yeah, Streamlab, sabi ni Pastor Blue. Streamlab is free as well. Yeah. Zoom, marami ako nakita nag-zoom din sila. Zoom sila nagmi-meeting. Especially ngayon sa Pilipinas, na merong nabalik quarantine ulit. So, I think things will change with how recording is set up. So, pwede yung, siguro starting up, pwede yung gamitin yung kit lens ng camera if you have a new camera. And then you can just move closer to the speaker kung walang tao. Pero in the long run, if it's gonna be like a full-on service na pununan na ng tao, you have to go back. Umatras ako. Nung nagsimula kami, nasa gitna rin ako ng auditorium. And then nandun yung tripod ko sa gitna ng aisle. But now na bumabalik na kami sa limited capacity pa rin. Pero may tao na sa auditorium. So I'm moving back and moving to the side a little bit. And then, meron ba akong na-miss? Again, feeling ko kulang yung binigay kong information sa video gear or camera. If you have any questions, sa akin, ang pinakamura kong nakita ngayon na may capability na lahat ng sinabi ko na mirrorless camera is yung Panasonic Lumix G7. Hindi ko alam ang presyo sa Pilipinas, pero nakuha ko yung dito ng dalawang lens na isang zoom lens which is very far. Micro Four Thirds to 150, so nasa 300 millimeter full frame equivalent. So malayo ang naabot niya, parang telephoto zoom. And then kung second hand cameras, you can do 86 Sony Alpha 6000. Wala lang yata siyang audio jack. So kung magso-Sony kayo, I think ang pinakamura yung makukuha is yung 80 Sony Alpha 6300. May 4K na to na video. Problem with this camera is nag-overheat siya sa 4K. Ayun pala, buti naalala ko. Hindi naman tayo magre-record during streaming. Naka-standby lang yung camera. So, one thing na nagiging problema ko before is battery. Hindi po umaabot yung battery ko, and especially kung naka-Sony kayo, mamamatay ang battery nyo kung naka-ano kayo, Sony na crop. So what I do is I use an adapter na dummy battery, and then it connects to a USB charger or a USB na power bank. So that way hindi kayo problema na mamatay yung camera, mamatay yung camera while streaming, kasi ilang beses na nangyari sa akin yun. Namamatayan ako ng battery, so I have to change halfway through the service. So sabi ko, kailangan kong gawan ng paraan. Nagawan ko ng paraan, sina-charge ko siya habang nagsi-stream. Pero pag naka 4K ang setting ko, ubos ang battery and it just cuts off. So dummy battery is the best way to go. Yeah. Ayun po. So, kung may tanong kayo, lagay nyo na sa comment section. I'll try and see if masasagot ko. Pero po, yun. Salamat sa tumagal sa 11 na nanonood. 10 na lang. Yan. Diba, kung meron kayong mga workers na interesado na maging involved sa ministry na ito, and you just want them to learn for now, send them the link of this video. Sasave ko tong video na to sa YouTube ko, and it's on the public privacy setting. And then kung may tanong po kayo, let me know. I'll try my best to answer that. Again, hindi nyo kailangan ng mamahaling camera. Unfortunately, if you are using cell phone, very limited ang inyong magagawa. Pwede po, doable ang camera, pero yun nga, audio, as far as audio quality is concerned, masasacrifice yon pag maingay na yung mga bata, pag malakas ang ulan, hindi na maririnig yung nagsasalita. And a lot of times nagka-cut off yung connection. Okay. Yes. Sige po. I'll wait for maybe a couple of minutes kung meron pang mga tanong. Kung wala na kayong tanong, tutulog na ako. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's something po na kailangang i-consider ng mga churches ngayon, especially with this I know this unprecedented times na hindi pa naman nagkakaroon ng ganitong panahon, pero it's time na kailangan mag-invest ng equipment, not necessarily brand new. Maraming mga second hand na cameras, maraming second hand na equipment na pwedeng magamit, but it has to be something na kumbaga kung gusto natin ng quality streaming. And again, I'm not pushing my own my own opinions or preferences, but this video is intended to share the basics of streaming using proper equipment, and I hope that is clear. Ayan, sagit lang po. Yan. Okay, wala na ba? Yes. Okay, in 3 minutes siguro puputulin ko na. Okay. Okay, Saturday afternoon sa Pilipinas, ano? So, may mga magsi-stream dyan. Tanungin nyo ako. Well, we'll see if matutulungan natin kayo. So, OBS, again, OBS, learn it. Camera settings, learn it. Marami pong YouTube videos, tutorials para po malaman nyo yung settings, tamang settings for your specific camera. Hindi kasi po ako makapagbigay ng settings sa inyo, kasi kung magbigay ako ng setting for a Sony camera, it could be different sa ibang brands and different models ng cameras. Kaya kailangan aralin nyo kung ano yung meron kayo. But I'll try my best to help if you have any questions. Okay, one last thing here before we go. Okay. Sabihin nyo na po kung ano, sa tingin nyo may na-miss ako na topic. Maybe I'll do a part 2 na mas detailed, mas specific. Kumbaga, probably is OBS. We'll do a simple tutorial of OBS. I'll try to do that. Kasi po may mga template din. Maganda sa OBS, pwede mong i-copy, i-export yung template, and then pwede mong i-share yung template na ginagamit mo for your church. And that will be a big help for other people as well. Okay. Audio. May na-miss pa ba ako? Okay. And then for the computer, yung computer nyo po, hindi naman kailangan sobrang bilis. Pero wag naman sobrang bagal. Internet connection is important sa live streaming. So if you can do a hardwired connection, mas preferred yun. Kung meron kayong Wi-Fi, kung naka-Wi-Fi, make sure na konektado siya or malapit siya sa inyong router or sa access point para hindi kayo magdodrop ng frame rates. Naka-experience ng yes. Nagkaroon ako ng experiences sa OBS. Ang maganda sa OBS, sinusubukan niyang ituloy yung streaming kung saan naputol. Pero you can do sa baba ng OBS merong drop frames. Lagi ako nakatingin doon. Pag mahinang internet mo, drop frames will just increase. Pataas ang pataas, padami ng padami ang drop frames. And pag nakita mong pula yan, ibig sabihin may problema sa internet mo. You have to look it up, see if merong may external factors na nakaka-apekto sa internet connection mo. Marami akong kapalpakan sa internet connection. One time I was using my phone data for internet kasi biglang umulan. Nung umulan, nawala yung signal, so drop frames. Putol yung streaming. Pero pero nakabawi. Tapos ang maganda naman sa YouTube or sa Facebook especially, kahit napuputol yung frames ng video, yung audio tuloy-tuloy. So again, importante na may malinaw na audio. Kahit mag-freeze yung speaker, mag-freeze yung video, if your audio is good and it's clear, you'll get the message across. So mas mababa ang required na, or mas mababa ang demand for internet speed ng audio kaysa sa video. So keep your audio clear as much as possible. Okay. Okay. Sige po. Salamat sa mga nanood. I will cut it short in in 1 minute. Isasara na natin ito. So, yung ano yan? Sabihin ako yung mga gusto pong pastors, kung nanonood kayo mga pastors nito at yung mga gustong mag-involve sa live streaming and you have specific questions, message nyo na lang ako and then I'll try to answer. Meron TJ. Okay. And that's about it. Thank you so much po for staying. You can share the video again. I'll keep it stored on my Facebook account hanggang mag-change ako ng privacy ulit. And hopefully this will not be the last. Kung meron po kayong suggestions, comments, paki-comment nyo or send nyo sa akin. Okay? Hindi ko na sasabing mag-subscribe kayo kasi wala naman akong YouTube channel. Okay. Thank you. Have a good afternoon. And sa mga kasama ko sa church na nanonood ngayon, matulog na tayo. Have a good morning. Ingat po kayo. God bless and stay safe. Tuloy natin ang paglilingkod sa Panginoon. Ingat po kayo. Have a good night. Goodbye. Peace.